Okay, our last teaching project for Music 261 involves taking a lesson from a core content, mathematics, language arts, science, social studies, and you're welcome to redo a lesson you've done for another class. There's nothing wrong with that if you can just change it to fit the requirements for this purpose. But what I'm going to do is talk to you a little bit about the video that I made for you to watch, kind of my modeling, and let you see the purpose of this project and give you a couple of ideas. And I'm going about this a little bit differently than I might otherwise, just because I want to show you some different options that maybe you haven't thought about. So my lesson is on the water cycle, and a very common topic that's covered actually several times throughout the elementary curriculum. And I'll show you exactly what's expected in my lesson plan and show you the standards that I follow here. There's a lot of songs out there written about the water cycle. And probably the most common one that I see used the most is set to "She'll Be Coming Around the Mountain." Water travels in a cycle, yes it does. Water travels in a cycle, yes it does. You've probably heard that one before. There's also another one that I've heard used some, the water cycle boogie. And there's a water cycle rap and all sorts of other different water cycle songs out there. And those are all great and they're fantastic. If you want to use them, that's fine. But for my lesson, I've decided I'm going to go simple, and I'm going to implement some of the strategies that we considered in Music 260 using a little bit more motion activity, more along the lines of the Dalcroze method. So the music is simplified, but the motions, to me, along with the music, are what enables them to memorize things and put them in their brain very quickly. These are big words. Those three words that we learned about with the evaporation, condensation, and precipitation, those are big words, and they need to know the definitions of those words so it comes off the tip of their tongue in a hurry. And so to me, one of the best ways of enabling that, besides teaching them the definitions and assessing them in different ways, is to do some sort of a motion activity, set it to music, and then when they hear those words, they'll have several different learning styles that can pop into their brains and think, oh yeah, we did this motion activity that helped me learn the definition of this word, and they'll have a definition in motion in their mind, which is going to enable them to learn that even better. So what I'm going to be doing in my lesson, I'm going to do a chant to help them to memorize the words. And it's just simple, and you might even say, well, it's not really that musical. There is no melody to it. A chant is just more rhythmic. But it helps them say the words over and over and over. And as some of the students are chanting, then I'm going to bring up some other students, and they're going to do the little motion dance. And you have to be careful with the word dance, because a lot of students at this age are like, oh, I don't want to dance, I don't like to dance. So just call it a motion activity and help them realize that they're just having fun moving around, getting up and doing things. So and obviously the way I present this lesson, I would want them to show me some creativity. So I'm going to kind of guide them to discover ways to create motions to show the definitions of those three words: evaporation, condensation, and precipitation. So how, with your body, can you show the definitions of those words? And we would go over those definitions and help them understand them, and then try and have them come up with some sort of motion as half the class chants, the other half is doing those motions. Now, you can always do simple hand gestures, but that's not going to help them remember things quite as well as doing full body gestures. So I'm going to try and persuade them to come up with ways to use their entire body, and maybe not even just their body, but all of the students that are doing these motion exercises together can create some sort of a motion together that helps them define those 3 words. So as you watch this lesson, pay attention to that, and obviously this is one way of going about using music and motion in a core content lesson. There's lots and lots of options, and hopefully you've seen plenty of those through the videos and other resources that we've had in this class so far. But I want you to just really start trying to think outside the box. And do you always have to have music in every lesson and motion activities in every lesson? No. But do you want to engage the students? Do you want them to remember things better than they do when you just present them with writing and an assessment? That's really what makes a quality teacher from a normal teacher, is willing to think outside the box and willing to add engaging activities to the lesson that are going to help them remember those things better than if they don't. And I'll tell you, from a parent perspective, I watch my children come home from school and they love to sing the songs they learn in school. And if I ask them what they learned in school that day, they're like, oh, I don't know. And so usually I just don't ask them, but they'll go around singing their songs, and when a younger one starts singing a song, sometimes an older sibling will go, oh, I learned that song, and start singing along with them. So, music can really enhance a lesson and bring joy to a student. So I hope that you'll consider using music and those types of resources in your lessons throughout your teaching career.